Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Angela, and thank you for tuning in again. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And before I get started, I just want to mention my disclaimer. If you are in a life-threatening situation, please call 911, or you can call the domestic hotline number at 800-799-SAFE. 800-799-7233. So with that being said, let's start. Now that you are back in the relationship, you left but you went back. Are you stuck forever? No. Because and you're not a failure. You can get up and you can start this all over again. You just have to be more smarter and more together in your thinking. So it helps to get your mental right. You know, don't blame yourself for going back. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Oh, you were out of this relationship and now you don't went back. You must like this. No, that's not the case. You do not like it. I don't think there's anyone out there that likes to be hit on or demeaned or talked to any kind of way. So we know that's not the case. And you're not crazy. You're not stupid. You're not any of those things. So all I'm saying is you had the courage to leave once before, you can do it again. And they say try and try until you succeed. At first, if it doesn't succeed, then try again. So you're trying again. And I applaud you for trying again, because it takes a strong person to know that they're not stuck in a situation and how to move away from that situation. They say a great man falls 7 times. So we won't make it 7 times, hopefully. But if that's the case, get up and start it over again. So people often confuse failure with fear. You're not a failure. Let me give you the definition of a failure. A failure is someone that does not possess the necessary skills to accomplish something successful. So we can rule that out right away. You actually left before. What brought you back to the relationship is this: fear. An unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. So I can see why most people go back. So let me share with you why I went back the first time. I'll give you the brief story. Things had gotten bad. I had a friend that I met. We were both around the ages of 18 and 17. We worked together and she was my best friend. To this day, she's still my best friend. So she was having issues in her relationship, but we started to hang out more. And for whatever reason, my ex seemed to be okay with her. I can't explain it to this day, but he was okay with me being around this person. So she would come over sometimes and I would go over to her place sometimes. And so I did have this one person that I could talk to about some things. She wasn't aware of everything, but she knew some things that were going on. So one weekend, things got really bad for me. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I got my children and I packed them up and I asked her if I could come over and stay with her for the weekend. And she said yes. So I went over and we talked, and finding out that things were not good for her, I knew at that point I couldn't just, move in with her and help her with the bills and we become roommates, because things were not good there. So it was like moving from one abusive relationship to another one that really didn't involve me. So I did stay for the night. He called and he was, I didn't tell him where I was, but he was calling and leaving voicemails and things of that nature. I decided that I can't stay with my friend. I wasn't going to a shelter. That was just, for me, out of the question. So I called him and told him that I was coming back, and I did. When I got back, he seemed to be real eerily calm. I didn't know what to expect. He was hugging on the children, and he was just different. So at that point, I'm fearful because I don't know what to expect. So nothing happened that night. Things seemed to be, he apologized for his behavior. Things seemed to be almost normal, but something in me knew that this wasn't right, that things were going to really get bad. So that Sunday, I think, he just kind of stayed around the house and he tried to explain the reason why he acts the way he does, and that he knows he needs help. And if I promise not to take the children and be there for him, then we could work this out and he'll, make sure he tries to do better. Something in me just let me know this was just all the ruse. But because I felt that I had no other place to go, I stayed and I tried to help him with his issues. But as I've said before, you can't fix a broken person. That's not your call. So the best thing to do is get out and get out safely. So over the course of us being together, he would, fly off the handle and he would do things, but then he would quickly stop because he knew that I could very well get up and leave again. So then I started to see that I had some leverage. He didn't want to lose me because he didn't want to lose the control. It had nothing to do with love. So I wasn't confused about thinking, oh, he really loves me. I figured out in the relationship that this can't be love. Love shouldn't hurt this bad. So what I did was I started to regroup from where I left off when I left. I started to save my money again. I started to make myself less available to him. I started to spend most of my time with my children. And as I said, my friend and I, we would hang out as much as we could. And I just started distancing myself from him. And I'm not telling you that every day was okay, because it wasn't. But things started to get to the point where you could feel that he felt he was losing his grasp on me. So he started to stay out a lot more. He started doing drugs more. And I started just focusing on how I was going to leave. Like I said, I started saving money. I started being around people more, because one thing I know for sure is an abuser will not show his hand in front of people. So I started trying to be around people more, which that worked for a little bit. But then it got to the point where he didn't want to have people around. So he would start arguments so people would feel uncomfortable and leave. I never forget one time he had friends over, and normally when he had his friends over, I would just simply get up and dismiss myself, go to another room or go to the room with the children, or sometime even try to leave the house just so he could have his company. But this time he had company, and he started right away. Before I could even get out of the room, he started nitpicking. And this one of his friends stood up to him and said to him, I don't know what's going on, but obviously we came at a bad time. So I don't appreciate you speaking to your girl this way. So I think we should leave. So they had a few words, and he looked at me, and I knew it was going to be bad that night. So sorry about that. And as I said, things that night did get bad. But that didn't stop me from going on with my plan. I decided that I wasn't going to be a failure, and I wasn't going to let fear keep me stuck in this situation. I started saving my money again. I started moving in silence. I prayed to God, and I asked him to show me what steps I needed to take. I stayed safe in every situation possible. When he was drinking, I made it a point to not be around him as much as I could. I often tried to get him out of the house, and he would start an argument. So I would just say, why don't you leave? Because that's what you want to do. And I just, started saying, you don't have to argue with me, just leave. And thankfully enough, most of the times he would just leave. And I know that in most situations, it's not that easy. The person just wants to stay around and be horrible to you. I understand that they don't just get up and leave. So in understanding that, if something is happening, please call the police when you can. If you can get out of that house with your children, get out and don't come back. Only thing that I would suggest that I didn't do is reach out to the domestic hotlines. Go to a shelter. Go to someone. Tell someone so they can help you. People now are more helpful than they were back in the day. So reach out to some friends, family, and once you leave, please don't go back, because going back nowadays can going back nowadays can end up with you losing your life or something happening to the kids. So even though we do sometimes go back, it's not always the safest option. So when you have a chance, get out and stay out. So with that being said, I just want you to know that you're not a failure. You're just stuck in fear. And the way to get out of the fear that you are stuck in is to mentally declutter your brain. Stop worrying about what people are going to say. Stop worrying about how they look at you. Start to look at your children if you have some. Start to look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is not what God intended for me. This is not how I should be living my life. Say that to yourself daily. And fear doesn't just dissipate overnight. It takes some time. Keep in mind, stay safe. If you need someone to talk to, leave me a comment or send me an email. I'm available to just talk to you one-on-one. I really hope that this channel is going to help someone. I hope it reaches someone that is in need of help. And if you know someone that's in need of help, please like my channel, subscribe, and share. Thank you. I'll be back next week with a new topic. And I hope that you are enjoying this. This is new to me, as most of you can probably tell. But I feel compelled to come out here and just share. I want to be a domestic advocator for someone. I want to just be there to help someone, and that's the reason that I'm here. Thank you. Bye.